We begin in a London pub. 5 old university friends, Luke, Rob, Phil, Dom, and Hutch, are debating where to go for their annual getaway. Rob suggests hiking through Sweden, but Luke pushes for another round of drinks. As the night ends, Luke and Rob stop by a convenience store to buy more alcohol. Tragically, the store is being robbed. Luke hides behind a shelf, but Rob gets caught, and when he refuses to give up his ring, he's brutally murdered with a machete. Luke watches, paralyzed by fear, guilt written all over his face. 6 months later, the remaining 4 friends, still mourning Rob, embark on that hiking trip through northern Sweden in his honor. The trauma lingers, especially for Luke, who's plagued by recurring nightmares and guilt over his inaction. Their hike starts peacefully enough, rolling hills, misty forests, but Dom injures his knee. In an attempt to shorten the trip, they decide to cut through the dense forest, and that's when things start to go very wrong. As night falls, they stumble upon a deserted wooden cabin in the middle of the forest. With no better option, they take shelter inside. Inside the cabin, they find strange runes carved into wood and a grotesque, human-shaped effigy made of sticks and antlers upstairs. Despite their unease, they decide to stay until the nightmares begin. That night, each of them experiences terrifying visions. Luke wakes up in the woods, his chest marked with strange punctures. Dom dreams of something watching him. Phil is found naked, kneeling before the wooden effigy, seemingly in a trance. Clearly, something in this forest isn't right. The next day, they try to find their way out but seem hopelessly lost. Strange symbols continue to appear on trees. They hear noises. Trees crack in the distance. Something is stalking them, something enormous, powerful, and unseen. That night, they lose Phil. They find his body gutted and hanging high in the trees like an offering. Panic sets in, and the group begins to fracture. Luke wants to press on. Dom wants to find a way out immediately. Hutch tries to keep them grounded, but by the next morning, Hutch is missing too. Luke finds his body, impaled high in a tree, just like Phil. Now it's just Luke and Dom. As Luke and Dom flee, they find a path, marked with more runes, leading to a village. Hope turns to horror when they're captured by cloaked villagers and locked in separate cells. The villagers are part of a cult that worships a Jotun, an ancient Norse godlike creature, offspring of Loki. They call it Mater, a terrifying forest entity with the body of a giant elk and twisted human limbs. It grants its followers unnaturally long life in exchange for worship and sacrifice. Luke, marked by the creature earlier, is seen as a potential acolyte. The cultists explain that if he submits, he too can live forever. Dom, on the other hand, is to be sacrificed. That night, they force Dom to his knees, and he sees a final vision of his wife, before the beast impales him and drags him off into the trees. Luke, enraged and desperate, breaks free. Armed with an axe, he sets the wooden cabin on fire and battles the creature in the forest. Mater tries to break him, forcing hallucinations of Rob's death and demanding submission. But Luke fights back, shooting at it, screaming in defiance. He finds a boundary, the edge of the forest, and crosses it. The creature, unable to leave its domain, roars in fury as Luke stares it down one last time. Finally, Luke is free. But as he looks back at the vast, dark forest, we're left with the chilling realization. Freedom came at the cost of his friends, and the scars of guilt still run deep. The Ritual is a tale about more than just monsters in the woods. It's a story about guilt, grief, and the weight of choices. Luke wasn't just running from a monster. He was running from the part of himself that couldn't save his friend. The creature, Mater, embodies that fear, punishing weakness and demanding submission. But Luke's refusal to kneel, even in the face of death, is what finally sets him free.